So another day, another just weird situation, with Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever and people around you. We obviously have seen the Scott Agnes article here, where he basically said that Caitlin Clark, basically that Caitlin Clark brings a dark side to the Fever, and her fans are like a negative on the team, and it's a struggle dealing with her fans. I'm like,
Are the Indiana Fever actually plotting to trade Caitlin Clark? The internet's buzzing, and the vibes are stranger than a halftime mascot race gone wrong. Did she score too much? Smile too bright? Move too many jerseys? Something doesn't add up, and it sure isn't a pregame meal. Whispers are swirling, theories are flying, and if there's any truth to this, we could be looking at the dumbest front office move in WNBA history. So buckle up. We're connecting the dots, digging into the chaos, and serving the tea hotter than one of Caitlin's logo threes.
Good win by the Indiana Fever today versus the Seattle Storm, but I got a big concern with Caitlin Clark, man. So looks like the Fever have been figuring things out, man. So let's just say Clark comes back toward the end of the season, Fever do their thing in the playoff. Let's just say, for the sake of my argument, the Fever win the championship, man. With Caitlin Clark having missed pretty much most of the regular season, would this championship not hold that much weight? Because I can already see the haters saying she missed most of the regular.
Let's be real. If the Indiana Fever actually traded Caitlin Clark, they might as well hand out "we quit" signs with every ticket stub. You thought Indiana traffic was bad? Wait until you see the stampede of fans sprinting to buy jerseys for whatever team ends up with number 22. That we're not talking about just another player here. We're talking about the most marketable, most talked about, most Googled athlete in all of women's sports. And they'd ship her out for what, exactly? A bag of slightly used warm-up towels and a "maybe it'll pan out" second-round pick. Please. That's not roster building. That's franchise self-destruction.
he literally said, and he was like, there are some people that are not here for basketball, not here for the Fever, but are only here for Caitlin Clark. It's like, if you're a fan of a player and you're here for the basketball and you're there watching games and everything, you're a fan of a player playing basketball. I don't see there's an issue with that. And according to his thing, to him, he was talking about how it was such a struggle for the team, and obviously someone who has access to the team. And he mentioned the fans coming on saying fire.
The Fever's arena wouldn't just get quiet if they traded Caitlin Clark. It'd go from packed house to echo chamber faster than you can say, worst trade in sports history. Right now, Clark isn't just the main event, she is the event. She's not selling out games, she's selling out cities, every time she steps on.
A little disappointed in Sophie's take is that, she's right, it's just that she did say, and I thought this was a better explanation, she was saying that when she played in Phoenix, that she was in the locker room, and so many of the players in the locker room were saying things like, oh, we're going to show Caitlin Clark what the W is really about, and would sort of go after her. And in some ways you can understand that because she was a rookie in the league. But ultimately, when you see all this vitriol of people who cannot stand her, it's like, okay, well, what has she done wrong? Yeah, she's a great basketball player. So
the math ain't mathing, and everybody knows it. You don't trade the one player who dragged your franchise out of the bargain bin and dropped it onto center stage. Before Caitlin Clark, the Fever weren't even background music, they were static. Forgettable. Now, they're Beyoncé. Front row. Spotlight. Trending every single night. That's not a system. That's not coaching. That's Caitlin.
A badass and a trash talker and gives it as good as she gets it. And she is an object of scorn for good reason. She's awesome, she's swaggery, she does turn your home crowd into a road crowd, she is a frustrating player to guard, all of it. And if she is, for some of these teams, a bit of a villain, that's sweet. It only will make her better. She is already one of the 3 or 4 best players in the sport, as a lot of us thought she would be in short order.
If the Fever actually pulled the trigger, they'd be firing themselves out of relevance faster than a missed free throw. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a one-woman media hurricane. Cameras chase her like she owes them money. Every shot she takes ends up on 5 sports shows, 3 podcasts, and your cousin's TikTok. Trade her, and that spotlight. Gone. Poof. Vanish like mid-June playoff hopes. Meanwhile, wherever Clark lands, Minnesota, Seattle, or literally a town with more cows than people, she becomes America's team overnight. Number 22 on a jersey equals instant fandom, instant hype, instant cash registers ringing. Meanwhile, the Fever. Quiet arena, trying to sell a gritty rebuild. Cute. Real cute. They think packed stands come from good defense and community outreach. No. They came for Mickey Mouse. Caitlin Clark is Mickey Mouse.
Fever posted this about Caitlin Clark to give the official what is going on with Caitlin's injury. So they said Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week, which confirmed that no additional injuries or damage was discovered. Clark will continue working with the medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for her return. But I do think it's interesting that ESPN has listed August 12th as a possible return date for Caitlin Clark, but the internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no...
This isn't just a fan base. This is a full-blown movement. People aren't just watching, they're traveling, posting, turning WNBA League Pass into the hottest streaming service of the summer. You think they'll stick around cheering for the Fever if Clark's pulling off trick shots in another city? Absolutely not. They'll follow her anywhere, like Swifties, but with better free throw form, and the delusional idea that the Fever will remain competitive without her. Respectfully, good luck. Unless they can replace her with a genetically engineered super player who hits threes, runs point, sells tickets, wins MVP, and cures boredom simultaneously, they're getting tumbleweeds and regrets. Let's talk money. Trading Caitlin Clark isn't just bad basketball. It's financial malpractice. Letting her go would be like Apple firing Tim Cook and replacing him with a Roomba. Profits? Gone. Buzz? Dead. Excitement? Vaporized. The Fever would be trading a one-person media empire for a cardboard cutout and a handshake.
She didn't play most of the games to get them to the playoffs, all of that. She won a championship and she was hurt most of the season, and the team was out there winning games without her. I can already see people saying that, man. So I'm just curious, man, because I'm thinking damn, Clark has missed a lot of this time. You play the regular season and get to the playoffs. Clark has missed most of the season so far. So if she won a title this year, having been injured most of this season, and then her first championship would be her being hurt most of the time, how would that championship rank for y'all? Would it not hold that much weight? Would it just be, a win is a win, whatever?
And don't even start with the maybe it's best for both sides narrative. Best for who? The accountants balancing spreadsheets while fans flee? The merch guy scrambling to print team effort t-shirts because no one's buying anything else? The PR intern rewriting tweets at 2 a.m. to explain why the arena looks half empty? This isn't addition by subtraction. It's subtraction by delusion. Trading Clark would be a masterclass in burning your own house down while patting yourself on the back for discovering fire. The only thing the team gains is chaos, and probably a fresh wave of, where did it all go wrong, think pieces. It's not just basketball anymore. It's brand. Identity. Cultural impact. Momentum. Unless the Fever have secretly cloned Caitlin, trained the clone to shoot better, talk sassier, and look cooler in slow motion, no trade package can survive the fallout. No combination of picks, players, or promises can fill seats, light up the scoreboard, and ignite social media the way she does.
Be clear about this. If Caitlin Clark were not in the WNBA, we would not be talking about the WNBA. She's the only ticket draw in the WNBA. a large percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA are so people can watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. No one cares about Angel Reese. She'd be drawing flies if she were playing not against Caitlin Clark on the court right now. Angel Reese has basically become the Bill Laimbeer to Caitlin Clark's Larry Bird, essentially.
End of the day, the message is simple. You don't trade the sun and expect the planet to keep orbiting like nothing happened. You trade Caitlin Clark, and the whole galaxy shifts. Just hope you're not the ones left in the cold. Here's where logic officially taps out and reality starts doing backflips. The people running this operation seem to think fans are watching because of the fever. Like the logo, the colors, the name Indiana itself has some mystical hold over millions of people. As if a mid-range jumper from anyone not named Caitlin is going to keep the nation glued to their screens. Newsflash. This fan base would rather follow Clark to the worst team in the league than pretend to care about a competitive roster that doesn't have her. You think people are invested in a rebuilding arc? Absolutely not. They are invested in the Clark cinematic universe. They're not here for the ensemble cast. They're here for the main character, that was proven last season when viewers watched every last Iowa game like it was the NBA Finals, then collectively vanished the moment the Fever season wrapped. Playoffs? Never heard of them. Attendance dropped, ratings dipped, and social media went into hibernation, like someone hit the emergency "Caitlin's out" button.
That she's the face of the league, and that's understandable because there have been fantastic players in the WNBA for a long time. But Caitlin didn't disparage them. She just came in and kind of changed the game with her style. So I think it's one of those things where you have to say, okay, maybe I don't think it's fair based on the previous women who have been in this league, but it's not Caitlin's fault. All she's done is elevate the game for all of us. And I think instead of being pissed off about that, you should be appreciative of that and say, maybe it's not fair, but it's not your fault.
This isn't some vague fandom you're dealing with. This is a ride or die, burn the boat, storm the court kind of fan base. They didn't come here for team loyalty, they came here because Clark makes basketball look like magic. She drops 30 like it's a warm-up, stares down defenders like she's writing a diss track in her head, and then coolly walks off like it's just another Tuesday. You think those people are sticking around to watch gritty defensive sets and some newly drafted replacement miss 3 straight layups? No chance. In fact, give Caitlin a jersey and a team of literal scarecrows and you'd still sell out the building. She could be on a squad with 1 working scoreboard, 2 ball racks, and 0 help defense, and the arena would still be packed. Most teams dream of building a loyal fan base over decades. Clark shows up and boom, built-in audience, instant relevance, global attention. She didn't just move the needle, she broke it off the dial. Her fan base isn't just the biggest in the league, it's bigger than some team's entire existence. One player, one movement, one walking highlight reel.
Fever Sky tickets dropped 71% on TickPick after Caitlin Clark injury. The get-in price for the Chicago Sky versus Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever game was $86. After Caitlin Clark's injury announcement is now down to $25. And you Angel Reese fangirls will still believe and think that Angel Reese is the reason why people are watching the WNBA. Since y'all want to make it about race, this white girl over here is the reason why fans are tuning in to watch the WNBA, not because of this.
Imagine the absolute comedy of trying to convince people to stay loyal to the Fever after they've traded the literal reason those people even know the team exists. It's like kicking the headliner off a tour and wondering why nobody showed up for the backup yodeler. Clark isn't just part of the story, she is the story. Remove her and you're left with plot holes and empty seats, and it's not like these fans are casuals either. These people know Caitlin's stats better than they know their own phone numbers. They've got her merch, her mixtapes, her jersey, multiple colorways. They watch pressers, rewatch games, argue in comment sections, and lose their minds over a cross-court pass. This isn't just admiration, it's borderline devotion. See how many people tune in when Caitlin's cooking up triple doubles in another jersey and the only buzz around the Fever is a mosquito in section 112. These fans aren't watching a system. They're watching a spectacle. And when the spectacle leaves, so does the attention. So do the dollars. So do the screaming fans who flew across the country just to see her warm up.
that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. Don't get it twisted. Don't get up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. But for her individually, I don't think she should get involved on nothing that's being said. Just go have fun, enjoy, but I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills. I hope Aaliyah Boston does amazing.
That's what makes this entire scenario hilarious in a tragic comedy kind of way. The Fever aren't just holding a player, they're holding the key to an entire movement. And somehow, they might not realize that if they fumble this, it's game over. Not just on the court, but in the marketing room, at the box office, and in every single Grow the Game meeting they'll ever attend again. Clark could suit up for a team that's won 3 games in 5 seasons, and overnight it becomes must-watch TV. She'd walk in, change the culture, boost morale, double the revenue, and make defenders look like unpaid interns. The fans wouldn't just follow, they'd upgrade their cable packages, start booking flights, and crash the team's website trying to buy tickets. You think a few pick and rolls are going to replace that kind of electricity? That's not basketball optimism, that's denial with a side of delusion. Trade her, and you won't just lose a player. You'll lose your identity, your audience, and your relevance. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark turns some last-place franchise into a dynasty while Indiana gets left behind, wondering how they turned gold into dust.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness, she and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. She accounted also for helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course, her jersey was #1. And most importantly, I think people look at this and think she said no. That's not the case. She said she wants her first competition to be an Indy at WNBA All-Star.
Kelsey Mitchell, 8 years deep with the Fever, played through the dark ages, one working concession stand. One sad, lonely concession stand. You could hear popcorn kernels popping in solitude. Now, with Clark on the roster, Fever games are pulling 17,000 fans per night. Draft Clark and boom, the concession stands multiplied like rabbits just to keep up. Attendance jumped from 4,000 to 17,000 like it was a casual Tuesday, and it's not just seats, it's TV ratings through the roof. Merch flying off shelves. Corporate sponsors crawling out of the woodwork, begging to slap logos on anything that moves. Clark isn't just a player, she's a walking revenue engine. The Fever didn't just add talent, they upgraded from crickets to chaos, from empty seats to full-blown frenzy. Trade Caitlin Clark. Might as well turn the lights off on your way out.